What's going on, people? It's your man, the YB. Back once again. Big shout out to my doggy Matty Bell for coming through and boosting up the coin. So, Maximus Danelius Dubois has flown back from the bad booty bees of Brazil to grace us with his broken silence. Let's get straight to the bars. Bash.
Daniel, how are you firstly?
I'm good, mate. I'm really good. I'm looking forward to the next chapter now, looking to get back in there.
Right, so from your side of things in Riyadh, when did you start feeling ill, Daniel?
Probably the Friday or the Thursday before, a couple of days before the fight, my glands swelled up. I was getting feverish and, I was just feeling really drained and tired and just, real feverish, dizzy. And, but I still wanted to fight. But my team and they got the British Border Control doctor to come and see me. And they all sat down and, my team, my dad, my team and everyone, and then the doctor said he wouldn't advise me to fight. And so we followed, the Border Control doctor's orders and, they decided to pull it. But I wanted to fight. And, I'm left with a bit of taste in my mouth, really, that I still want to get it on. Hopefully they can make the Parker fight again so I can finish that.
Dan, I know you said you wanted to fight and...
Now, I have to give you some context. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm fixing... Dubois done a few interviews in the last few days or whatever. I got some more videos coming later next week. I'm 100%. I'm hitting a lick on your ass, essentially, people. Yeah, I'm stringing this one out. But the point is, I've heard a bit of everything from Dubois over these several videos. He says, you even hear a bit here, oh, I want to do it with Parker again. And then the other video he's saying, I want Parker now, I want him bad. But then he mentions Chisora, and I'm thinking, I wonder, are these... People say, YB, it's 2025. These aren't mandingos. You're a grown-ass adult. Yeah? Listen, if you don't want to fight Parker or you was sick or whatever, just say that, man. Say, listen, man, I'm not fighting Parker. Don't do that. Like, oh, well, yeah, Parker or AJ or Usyk or... So basically anything. Yeah? At first glance, when you hear these, he says, yeah, I want to run that back. Do that then. So unless Frank Warren's name is Calvin Candy and you ain't got no... I can't choose nothing. The argument is, well, YB, you have a promoter and managers for a reason and the fighters aren't very smart, so they just... Come on, people. You're a grown-ass man at this point, almost 30 years old. If you want it, get it. And I think that for me sits right with me. Or at least offer it. For all we know, Parker might choose to fight Usyk, or he might be fighting Usyk anyway. I've heard some rumours on the grapevine that Turkey, he doesn't want to do Dubois and Usyk. So, at the very least, Dubois, yeah, sends an offer to Parker and he might turn it down. He might have an AJ offer. He might have a Usyk offer. Usyk's got 2 fights left. You could fight Parker, beat him, and then fight Usyk anyway. Well, you certainly would. Usyk's not going to retire before doing Undisputed again. So at the very least, push for that fight. If you claim, oh, no, I want to run it back because it doesn't look... I don't feel... I like what he's saying. It doesn't sit right with him, but... Two things aren't lining up. If something doesn't sit right with me, it doesn't sit right, and that's got to be it. It can't be like, well, he doesn't sit right, but then again, Chisora might be a good fight, which is something he also said, essentially. Yeah, I want Parker. Then the interviewer says, oh, do you know Chisora's your mandatory? Yeah, that might be a good one too. Again, Dubois is not the most... I'm not sure what you'd call it. He doesn't seem to be the most... For example, if you look at someone like Floyd... I don't think anyone really ever told Floyd, certainly not when he was world champion at that level, like Dubois is now, told him who he was fighting, right? He cherry-picked a whole bunch, to be fair, but even that proves he picks who he wants to pick. Dubois seems like he kind of goes with the wind. Obviously his dad's influence, Frank's influence. So two things can't be true. You can't say, yeah, and he must know, it doesn't look good pulling out the day before. And it's fine, I get it. If you're sick, yeah, I get it. But equally, the only way to reconcile that situation is to run it back. And I'm actually intrigued to see that fight, seriously. I won't be gambling on it. I really won't. Sorry. Parker's just knocked Bacoli's head off, man. I'm not taking no more penitentiary chances like that, man. Seriously, not a big amount of money. We'll see what the odds are. The odds are probably more even now. Even so, though, I'll probably lean with Dubois. Still. And if the odds are good enough, if Parker's a favourite, I'll go with Dubois, but not a lot of money, not $100 like last time. It'll be like a tenner or $20. I've lost my confidence now. Been bumped too many times. You best believe it. It's just a bit, not enough conviction for what a man wants. He's not 19. And even someone like a Talma, yes, I don't know why a Talma's been sitting around for 6 months again. Just sitting around like he's done it all. That said, Italma, it might be just mouth action, but he said, I don't want to fight Pulev. He's old. He's washed up. Whereas, it shows me more decisiveness. And he's at a much earlier point of his career. It wouldn't actually be that bad to see Italma fight Pulev. And at the same time, you've got Dubois as champion looking to fight Chisora. For me, Chisora fought Pulev. Chisora won, yeah, but it was a relatively even fight. So if Italma doesn't really want to fight Pulev, Dubois has got no business fighting Chisora, particularly on these circumstances. I said yesterday, if Dubois had blown Parker's back out, and he wanted to have a gimme fight after doing a pretty good run of Jarrell, Hrgovic, AJ, Parker, I wouldn't be crying about it. It wouldn't be ideal, but I'm not going to sit there saying, oh, it's a travesty as such, because he's kind of earned a little bit of a rest if he's getting in there back to back, putting on proper shows. But now you've flopped on a Joe Parker show, that credit you built up, it's kind of null and void now. You're back to square one again. Unless you rewind the clock and say, okay, let's get it, Joe. You shouldn't talk things in this game unless you want to do them and you really mean it. So I'm getting mixed messages. He says here, oh, Parker, yeah, if they can get it on at some point. What, next? 4 years from now? We'll play it one more time.
All sat down and, my team, my dad, my team and everyone, and then the doctor said he wouldn't advise me to fight. And so we followed, the border control doctor's orders and, they decided to pull it. But I wanted to fight. And, I'm left with a bit of taste in my mouth, really, that I still want to get it on. Hopefully they can make the Parker fight again so I can finish that.
Hopefully they can make it again so I can finish that. I like that part, so I can finish that. But where's the hopefully, though? Where is the hopefully? The hopefully would be, Frank Warren, yeah, I'm grown. Get Joe Parker's in house. That's Frank Warren, Queensby Promotions. Listen. I picked the blower up on Monday this week and told Frank Warren, get that. Yeah? I'm fixing to smoke on that. Yeah? Get me that New Zealand plum, I'm smoking on that. 100%. Next. Not in a bit. Not Chisora. Next. Click. Yeah? That's what you do. So he come on the interview, all in the video, giving it the woo woo woo. Dan, have you put the 100%? Have you picked the blower up to Frank Warren? Tell him what time it is. I'm telling you, he hasn't done that. I'm telling you, I believe it's Chisora next. Seriously. It's Chisora next. The classic Frank Warren stinker playbook. Here we are again. Yeah? I think Frank Warren got really lucky with Dubois. I think Frank Warren, after the Usyk loss, I think Frank Warren thought, you know what, this man Dinga might be washed. And it's not by chance. Obviously, Dubois has worked on his head. But it could have gone left. I think Frank Warren kind of hung him out to dry at that point and said, you know what, this guy might be no good. I've put a lot of effort into him. Let's just sink or swim now. And as it happens, Dubois swum. I'm not sure if Frank Warren was too much expecting it, to be honest. I'm not sure he was. So he's here now and he's like, whoa, we've got a bell. That's wicked. Let's now... Whoop. Derek Chisora. Anyway, some more bards here from Dubois.
Dan, I know you said you wanted to fight and every fighter would, but looking back at it, if you were ill, do you think your team and the people around you made the right call?
Yeah, I guess they did, yeah. I live to fight another day and, take him on again now. That's what I've got to do.
But you believe even with that illness, you would have still stopped Parker?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I believe that 100%. Yeah. You know, even though with that, what happened to me, you know, I believe I would have stopped him.
Daniel, Don and Shane, obviously, Don, your current trainer, and Shane, your previous trainer, have both said since that at the end of a few camps, you've had this.
Okay, so he says, even if I was sick, I'd have stopped him. Dan, man. I like Dan. I really respect what he's done up until this point. Even saying, we've all been sick before. Now, we can argue the toss. Well, Joseph Parker got in there sick, which has to get more credit. Any man that gets in there sick, you have to get the ultimate credit, win, lose or draw. Whether it's smart or not is another question. I don't necessarily hold Dubois back for pulling out. My beef is, you pulled out, it looks iffy. Get in there again with him. It wasn't your fault you're sick. Equally, it's not your fault now you look like you shit yourself. Do you know what I mean? It's as simple as that for me. You pulled out, you was ill, fine, run it back. You don't pass go at that point, is how I feel. It's not, well, I was sick, scrap it. Because what kind of precedent does that set? I'm not saying Dubois is going to end up a diva, but what precedent does it set? If you can just be sick and move on, no one else can do that. Number one, no one else can just pull out if they're sick. In no final kind of world championship sporting event can you just turn up and say I'm sick. So if we make that concession for boxers and say, okay, the boxer's sick, it's not, oh, I'm sick and I'm moving on. And I'm shocked really that contracts even enable that, even allow that. It shouldn't be that way. It should be there should be a sick clause. If you're sick, you can pull out, but the fight's happening again, which would kill any incentive and any speculation that someone's ducking, because everyone would know, well, if I pull out now and I'm not really sick, I'm gonna have to fight them again anyway. So these teams, just put it in there, man. We're running it again, or at least the opponent should have the option. So Parker should have the option to fight Dubois again if he wants to. Yeah, because he did what he's supposed to do, and Dubois said he wants it. Pick the blower up, Dan. Pick the blower up and get that fight on now. Because I actually think, like I keep saying, a Dubois who's beat Parker is going to be in a better position to beat Usyk. If for nothing else, the time of a year will have elapsed. You get another year-ish. Usyk's going to be another year older. You're going to be another year older, where you're getting more experience and you've just beat Parker potentially. Obviously, the risk is you lose to Parker when it's all gone tits up. But the problem with the division these days is you're only one or two. You're never more in the division today. You're never more than a year from a loss anyway. That makes sense. You got Caballero hanging around the place, Parker hanging around the place, Usyk. What's his name? McCauley if he comes back, and he's half sharp. So you're not going to be able to fight. It's not like it was in the AJ Fury era, where it was kind of like this pure stiflers, wasn't there? There was 3 dragons as such, but there was nothing. All the challengers. Look at AJ's challengers. Oh, it was awful, wasn't it? It was a bunch of bums, or old, washed-up Povetkin's and Pulevs. It was no good, man. It was no good at all. It was no good. Now it's kind of everywhere. There's a little bit of danger hanging around. And the mentality Dubois showed up until being champion, no fear. Hergovic, Miller, AJ, keep that. Get in there with Parker, which you were supposed to do anyway, voluntary or not. You signed to do it. You should have signed to fight Chisora there and then. At least you'd have had an excuse for it. Anyway, let me know your thoughts, people. Smash the like button, subscribe, like the bell, 100%. There's no doubt about this. Some people stop it.